and running to the first of the 22 fences, and Docklands Express and Run for Free and Rushing Wild and Sipton Abbey are the first to show. Sipton Abbey with Topsham Bay right up there too, and they're all safely over the first with Very, Very Ordinary just the back marker. Sipton Abbey just the leader from Rushing Wild and Run for Free over on the far side, followed by Docklands Express and Black Humour, and they're all safely over the second. And Rushing Wild has taken it up now from Run for Free. These two stable companions, two of the Pipe Brigade, disputing the lead from Sipton Abbey. Then comes Docklands Express and Tipping Tim on the inside, Topsham Bay on the outer, then Jodami and Garrison Savannah and Black Humour. Behind them, Royal Athlete, Cherry Keno. The favourite is one from last. Last is Very, Very Ordinary. Over the third, Run for Free landed in the lead, although he hit it with Rushing Wild on his outside. Sipton Abbey right up there, Tipping Tim on the inside, and now they're running to the water for the first time. Rushing Wild and Run for Free, and all safely over the water now, running to the first of the ditches. Rushing Wild on the outside of Run for Free, Sipton Abbey and Tipping Tim, Jodami on the outside. Very, Very Ordinary is still the back marker. Another plain one before the next ditch, number 6. Rushing Wild from Run for Free. Sipton Abbey now gone up second, as Run for Free has lost his place. Jodami's moved into fourth. Racing towards this ditch, Docklands Express right up with Jodami. And Cherry Keno have followed there. Cherry Keno has gone at the second ditch. Rushing Wild is the leader from Sipton Abbey. This is the 8th. Docklands Express comes next. Then Run for Free, and then Jodami. The fellow is one from last. Very, Very Ordinary is last. Adam Conrad biding his time, letting his horse find his rhythm, running downhill. Rushing Wild and Sipton Abbey at the 9th. They land in unison. Docklands Express in 3rd, Jodami 4. Garrison Savannah prominent, the former winner. Tipping Tim on the inside. Carvilla Howe quite prominent also. Rushing Wild landed in the lead there. From Sipton Abbey, Docklands Express and Jodami. Topsham Bay on the outside, Carvilla Howe just in behind them, then Royal Athlete, then Cool Ground, then The Fellow, then Black Humour. Very, Very Ordinary still the back marker. Coming to the 11th of the 22 fences, Run for Free comes right back there on the stern side to jump it almost upsides Rushing Wild. Sipton Abbey comes next, then Garrison Savannah, Docklands Express on the far side, then Tipping Tim and Cool Ground and Royal Athlete and Jodami over the 12th. Rushing Wild landed in the lead there from Sipton Abbey. Garrison Savannah and Docklands Express and Jodami and Royal Athlete and Tipping Tim, and then Run for Free, then Cool Ground. Then comes Topsham Bay, and then The Fellow, and then Chatham. So Adam Conrad and Peter Scudamore upsides. Carvilla Howe follows them with Black Humour on his inside. Very, Very Ordinary still the back marker, and Rushing Wild the leader as they run down. 15 left standing in the Gold Cup as they run downhill to the 13th. Rushing Wild from Sipton Abbey. Jodami improving on the outside. Garrison Savannah still very prominent. Docklands Express on the inside. Royal Athlete running a big race. Coming down to the water now for the last time. Rushing Wild from Sipton Abbey. Garrison Savannah, Jodami. The 3rd of the ditches now. Rushing Wild lands in the lead from Garrison Savannah. Sipton Abbey, Jodami, Royal Athlete, The Fellow getting closer. Run for Free on the outside. 6 left to jump now. That's the 16th. And Rushing Wild still the leader. From Sipton Abbey, Garrison Savannah, Jodami, Royal Athlete, Docklands Express. The final ditch, this one. Garrison Savannah made a bad mistake at that one. Rushing Wild still in the lead. from Sibton Abbey, then Royal Athlete, then Jodami, then Run for Free, then Garrison Savannah, who's just being overtaken by the fellow now, who's beginning to improve on his outside, but still Rushing Wild has the advantage from Sibton Abbey. Then comes Royal Athlete, then Jodami, then Run for Free, and then the fellow. 4 from home this. And still Rushing Wild, last year's Fox Hunters winner, with the advantage in the Gold Cup from Sibton Abbey. Jodami coming there on the outside, Royal Athlete next, then comes the fellow. Rushing Wild landed in the lead there. Rushing Wild has got about a 3-length advantage over Jodami. Then comes Sibton Abbey. The faller there was Black Humour. They're racing round the home turn now with just 2 fences left to jump in the Tote Cheltenham Gold Cup. Rushing Wild is the leader from Jodami in second. The fellow's improving all the time and just going third, but under pressure. Rushing Wild being tackled by Jodami. Jodami and Rushing Wild. The fellow jumps it in third place, racing up now towards the final fence. Jodami and Mark Dwyer have taken it up from Rushing Wild. Jodami lands just in the lead from Rushing Wild. Jodami on the near side, Rushing Wild on the far side. Jodami on the near side, Rushing Wild on the far side. Jodami is going to win the Gold Cup as they race up towards the line. Jodami is going to win it from Rushing Wild. Second, it's going to be close for third, with Royal Athlete holding the fellow out of third place. So Jodami wins it from Rushing Wild, Royal Athlete and the fellow. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 1993 Tote Cheltenham Gold Cup, and the winner, number 10, Jodami, owned by Mr. J.N. Yeaton, trained by Peter Beaumont and ridden by Mark Dwyer. Second, number 13, Rushing Wild, owned by Hunt & Co. Limited, trained by Martin Pipe and written by Richard Dunwoody. And third was number 20, Royal Athlete, owned by Mr. G&L Johnson, trained by Jenny Pittman and written by Ben DeHaan, with fourth, the favourite, the fellow. And this is the winner, Jodami, and 29-year-old Mark Dwyer, who first won it in 1985 as a 21-year-old on Forgive and Forget.
What a tremendous Gold Cup. Rushing Wild had jumped from fence to fence. But look just behind him there, Jodami just being niggled at this stage, but Sibton Abbey in third has run a blinder. Little Docklands behind him and Royal Athlete. Coming off the last bend, Woody must have thought, this is it for me again. Because Jodami had been pushed along, but when he gets there, Mark Dwyer sits and collects his thoughts. Coming out of the pack, Docklands Express running yet another good race in this highest class. Now here you can see there, stride for stride, Rushing Wild just shortened and brushed through it, but didn't lose any impetus at all. But Mark Dwyer looks over his right shoulder and he knows, I've got the Tote Gold Cup. But watch them at the last, 2 stylish jockeys. They both sit hands and heels and go for it, see a stride and get it. Stride to stride, identical they land, but Mark Dwyer had that comfortable feeling of knowing he had a bit in hand. He has to come late. As he's hit the front, he does it for him. This big horse by Crash Course goes up the hill for a famous victory. The rest are a long way behind, but Royal Athlete runs a blinder of a race to come through to be third. Remember, he's in the Martel Grand National. But here for the Tote Gold Cup, it's a 2.5 length victory for Peter Beaumont's Jodami. He's brought this horse to the boil at the right time. He was always confident that he would do. He's an 8-to-1 shot, the winner, Jodami, if you've backed him, as sure a lot of you have. Let's have a look from another angle. Bill, at this point, two outs then. Although Jodami had been niggled to get there, Mark sat.
He did. He had this horse beautifully placed throughout, always going terribly well. Jumped absolutely marvellously. Just on the left-hand picture, we see the fellow coming along. I don't think that his young jockey did anything wrong. He just wasn't good enough on the day. Just watch these two jump the last. Absolutely spot on and a perfect exhibition. Look at that.
Now, as we look behind them, Royal Athletes come to third. Sibton Abbey has run a tremendous race there, back in 4, and Little Docklands Express, Run for Free just behind, just jumped awkwardly there, missing a bit. The ground was too fast for him. Then the red colours of the fellow, Garrison Savannah, Tipping Tim, cool ground, and Chatham rather disappointing behind. This is a good victory because Peter Beaumont's small yard, he's done nothing wrong and he's got him right for the right moment.
That's a perfect piece of training. The horse wins there, his ears cocked, just like a good Gold Cup horse should.
And being led back in by Tim Unwin. Here's Adam Condrat, foreground. And there, the happy face of Mark Dwyer. Mark, who has gelled with his horse. Patrick Farrell used to ride him. There he is, just at the head of the horse. He's the son-in-law of Peter Beaumont, and despite losing the ride, he will be ecstatic for the family and for the owner. Let's have a look at the starting prices.
First, number 10, Jodami, 8-1. Second, number 13, Rushing Wild, 11-1. And third, number 20, Royal Athlete, 66-1.
Yes, with you, John Yeadon, who's the calmest man here, and you just won the Gold Cup with Jodami.
Yes, fantastic. Yes, absolutely full of joy, very proud of the horse.
I mean, he did it quite beautifully too.
He did indeed, yes, without a doubt. But he was also ridden very well, and a lot of the credit must go to Peter Beaumont, who of course trained him.
Can I ask you how you can stay so calm in this moment?
Well, I always do. I think it's possibly my nature that I do, but I'm full of praise for the horse, and I'm only glad he's come back safe and sound. That's my feeling about it.
Here he is now. Very well done.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and how right he was to give much credit to Mark Dwyer as well as to Peter Beaumont. Mark, one of a family of 8 with no racing background, strangely. He was schooling horses for Paddy Woods, a man who incidentally won a hurdle on Arkle at Goran 31 years ago. As a 12-year-old, he was schooling horses, and he later joined that master jockey trainer Liam Brown and became Ireland's champion apprentice. He was 19 when he first won at the festival on Forgive and Forget, and 21 when he won the Gold Cup on the same horse. You've seldom seen a man ride a cooler race. You saw him look over his left shoulder halfway up the run-in and just keep his horse going. Very coolly indeed.